Okay, let's take a look at the slave trade key again. Sorry, I was interrupted by my kids. All right, what you will see is the slave trade was on a massive scale. And as you can see, guys, this is a one-way trip. If you look, there aren't any arrows going from east to west, west to east. There's only one direction. And unfortunately, this was the case for many millions and millions of people. So they literally were forced to leave. They were enslaved against their will, and they were sent to work. And it was not just the Americas, as you might know. If you take a look at this map, you will see it was also parts of South America as well as the Caribbean islands. So millions of people were sent. A little bit about the slave trade and this Middle Passage. So the Middle Passage included that trip. It was literally that middle part of the triangular trade. Portuguese replaced European slaves with Africans on the sugar plantations. So you're adding these to your notes now. And the first enslaved Africans were brought by the Spanish in 1518. So this has been a long-standing issue. And then from 1500 to 1800, about 10 million Africans were shipped from their homelands against their will to the Americas, and they were enslaved. So again, it's very important that you watch that video that was posted in Schoology for you that talks all about the Middle Passage and the slave trade. Okay. Adding to your notes now, guys, there's a couple things that you need to be aware of. Mercantilism. This is a term that we refer to what's happening between European, African, and the Americas. So it's an economic theory that a country gains power by building its wealth, specifically gold and silver. So these countries can achieve this if they export, so that means to sell to others more than they import, so more than they buy from others. And this promotes what we call colonization and also exploitation. So if you take a look at that little cartoon, this says mother country. It's hard to see, but you'll see it says colony, and those are the maids or servants. One has gold and silver, one has foodstuffs, one has raw materials. This was all part of that relationship between Europe and the areas that they were exploring and then would later colonize. So this is a term that we call mercantilism. So we have a colonizing country, so an established country that is going to reap the benefits of an area such as the Americas. They're going to take those raw materials that they can get from there, and then they're going to have those shipped over to their European country and make manufacturing goods. This is part of the triangular trade. All right, so today, and this is entirely up to your substitute at this point, what you can do, but you may wrap up your final activity for today. So again, this is up to your substitute if you can have a partner or not. Again, this is a sensitive subject for many people. If you do not finish it in class, you do need to finish this for homework. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to click on this link. First, I'm going to put it in present mode. Okay, and so today what you're going to be working on is those last pieces that we just took notes on. It's kind of put it all together for you. So you need to know the impact that the triangular trade causes on Europe, Africa, and the Americas. And again, what are those causes of the enslavement of people and the effects that it has on that continent. So here's what you're going to do today. You're going to make a copy of this document. And once you make a copy, again, go to those three dots. You're going to share and export. you're going to make a copy, and then you'll have a note guide that you can make on your own and type into. So once I have my copy ready to go, then I'm going to use those slides and the links that are provided for you. So all of these here, guys, are links that you can use. So the triangular trade, there's some information there that you can click on and read. And the second slide, the same thing. There is a document that you're going to read and analyze. Okay, so again, you'll want to put this in present mode so that way you can use those hyperlinks. But let's take a look at the first one. The triangular trade, after you've read and looked at those, you need to type your responses in there. So first of all, you're going to type and label. So these yellow or goldish arrows, that is actually the triangular trade. And if you look at it, there is a triangle shape that develops. So those arrows are pointing to let you know what one goes from one area to the other. So for example, what happens in the Americas, what is there and what is sent to Europe. So you're going to label that there. When you look at the Europe, there's something that is from Europe that is made or sent to Africa. You will label that. And then from Africa to the Americas, the same thing. What is sent there? Okay. So what is the impact on the Americas, and then what is the impact on Africa? Okay. The second slide then, taking a look at that. In the early 1500s, European colonists in the Americas needed cheap labor for their plantations and farms, and they began using enslaved Africans. This is because the labor source that they had originally used, the indigenous Native Americans, had all perished due to disease from the Columbian Exchange. So their labor source was gone, and unfortunately, Europeans did not do the work and labor themselves. They used enslaved labor instead. So take a look at the reading and the analyzing the slave trade and middle passage documents to complete the graphic organizer below. So for this, you will look at the causes of the African slavery, as well as the effects of African slavery. So what are those effects on Africa? What are those effects on the Caribbean and on the Americas? And then last but not least, take a minute to describe the middle passage and its effects on the captured Africans here. Again, this is a very dark topic, very sensitive subject. I hope that this allows you to learn a little bit about some of the horrors that individuals were faced with and that they endured. If you have any questions, please reach out, and I will be back, hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow. We do have a test coming up on Friday.